in which case your start of the run's actually a little bit harder. But then eventually you just get to a point where you're having more than 0% damage despite starting with minus 100% and you just win. So, we're going to do that one because I always do that one basically. I have lost as masochist in my life. Only once, though. Playing this way can result in some pretty awkward, like, wave 8s kind of things. Well. Is it possible to die on wave 1 as masochist? Probably not. Sounds like a challenge. My 6-armed and operational battle station. Starting with brick, you can die on wave 1. Can you? I'd have to see it. To believe it. It sounds believable, though. Is copy value counterfeit by Ghost Flint? It's counterfeit by me having minus 92% damage. Making minus 2% damage quite bad. Any startup noises? I don't have to have a ghost scepter at any point in this run, but I, like, conceptually don't hate the idea. He's Ambo's X. Quit shot, my hand is sore from playing the soldier run. It's a bit of an issue. Actually, tractor. It's fine. We can go 5 weapons until we have 6. It's not a big deal. You see. I think I'm just gonna take max HP. I don't need crit chance, do I? There's no horde wave, so hunting trophy's not as big a deal. Faster enemies wave 7 is fine, I think. Let this one spawn. Do I ever buy Ugly Tooth? I do not usually buy Ugly Tooth. I would rather have my speed than reduce the enemy speed. I let them spawn to have something to do. They give more materials when they die that way. I think not on T. On wave 8. Those enemies have a lot of health and hit kind of hard. This is sort of the iffy wave. Sure. Can I clap that wave? Yeah. Yeah, I did. It went well. be the sign. I have a lot of flat melee damage. Remember when the channel had millions of commands of nonsense rather than being a chill chat space? The good old days. So we're at minus 50% damage now. We are approaching the point where we just have an obscene character with no downside. Actually, gonna take 45 range. Fairy is very good. GG boss. Oh gosh. There is an elite. Suddenly Ghosts up there. I don't think this is a Ghost up there run. Have way too much flat melee damage for it to make sense to buy a ranged damage weapon here. Trying to take damage from something other than the boss. It's kind of hard, they all just die. Certainly an extended fight. But it looks like I measured it pretty well. 7 seconds left. Apologize for coming into chat and venting, but you're learning how to code. For a cybersecurity program you're taking, you just had a full-blown meltdown not being able to get my code to work, and finally got to work, and now you're so goddamn happy. Uh-huh. Yeah. Coding's a bit of a thing. I think my coding experience has been greatly improved by me not caring whether things work or not. Which admittedly doesn't work if you're doing a class. Just make shit code and someone else will fix it. I don't know if that's the best strategy. Coding's really fun. It's just like coding under pressure is a lot different from coding just because you feel like coding. Are you my teammate? Haven't had a good coding project for a while. One pearl? Some luck, sure. One more pearl? Let's go for it. We can take lifesteal. It's pretty good when you're using ghost shivs. Buy acid as well. Actually, I don't have that much armor for a character who starts with +8. Obviously I have -5 from the ghost weapon set, but I also just haven't gotten like... I actually got a purple armor and a blue armor level up. I obviously just like haven't bought any armor items. Oh no. Perl for my next programming project? Oh no, I'm going to be coding in Java for the rest of my life. I will never learn another language a single time. It's like 0% chance. I just do not code with the sort of frequency that requires me to learn another language, and also the thing I find interesting in coding is the thing that it does, not the way that it does it. So if I already know a language, we can make something do the thing that I want to do. I'm just going to use that one. Java is an appropriate last language. It is pretty lethal. I can't tell if that's good or not. The only thing is I might relearn R at some point in my life if I have a project which has a sufficient amount of like statistical stuff going on in it. Because the way that R works with arrays is actually kind of nice. For that specific thing. And that is a thing I have learned before, so I just have to relearn it. All skills! Thanks for 34 months. Appreciate it. My attack speed's fine. I don't really want minus armor. And those three all have minus armor. So, all strong items, but doesn't feel like it's the right spot for them. Anyone got any tips for not succumbing to seething rage from coding? You can't go back to cigar. um, I think getting very familiar with your debugger helps a lot. Like getting to a point where you enjoy using the debugger is pretty powerful. Where you understand the things that it is telling you and have enough, like, proficiency with solving those things that they don't terrify you. I also think, like, changing my mind about whose fault it was that it wasn't working helped me a lot. Like, nowadays, if I'm trying to code something and it doesn't work, I'm just like, oh my god, the language I'm using and the software I'm using are both so terrible. And then I just feel fine about myself. What the fuck is wrong with this other thing that is clearly to blame, which isn't me? Therapy to regulate emotions. Therapy is just pretty good in general. There are people who have studied like brains and the human experience, and you can pay money for them to spend time like helping you understand your brain and your human experience. And like, out of all of the things in your life, like that seems like a pretty good thing to spend some time trying to understand better. That's my take on therapy. Possible to get therapy under the US medical system. It is also kind of hard to find a really good therapist. But like, time spent looking for a good therapist who you can see is worth it. And if you are a person who has money to spend on things, you do not have to get your therapy covered by health insurance. You can pay like 150 bucks for a session. It is not the cheapest thing, but if you have that money, the thing you're getting out of paying that money is probably worth it. How is therapy better than just posting stuff on Reddit? Well, you like get to talk with a human being who has invested substantial effort into understanding your like whims and desires, and they can help you connect the dots between different things without you having to like explain everything from scratch to a complete stranger who has no interest in actually helping you. You don't need therapy because you have the Helping Each Other channel on Jorbs Discord? That's nice. I have had... I think I've only had 2 individual therapists, and the first one I didn't like that much, but the second one I've like stuck with ever since, and we're at a point now where like I just kind of go on for a check-in every now and then. I started like cognitive behavioral therapy early on in the pandemic because holy fuck, the pandemic. But my therapist like wasn't actually that good for me, which did not help with the pandemic. let me tell you. But then like a year and a half or so after stopping seeing that therapist, I was like, okay, but maybe like a different therapist would be good. So I tried again and got a therapist who was like actually genuinely good. And that has massively improved my life. Does my therapist ever regret that because I am their client, they have to not watch my stream? I sure don't think so. I would find it very strange if they told me that. But I've also had some like group therapy setting experiences in my life. I have done relationship counseling before, and I've also been in some like group support therapy for loved ones, where I wasn't like the person being counseled, but I was there to support the person who was. And yeah, I don't feel like the hit rate is incredible on getting like a really good therapist. And part of it isn't like the therapist's fault. Part of it is you don't just need to get somebody who is good at therapy. You also need to get somebody who like is good at like working with you in particular, because you are unique. And when they took their therapy classes, they didn't like learn about you, right? They learned a bunch of techniques which may help them work with you, but they haven't actually learned about you yet until you show up and start talking to them. So I have definitely seen lots of people struggle to find a good therapist, and also I have, in looking for therapists and experiencing therapists in other situations, seen lots of reasons for which that might be true. A therapist could be watching my stream. Uh-oh. One of the weird things about the therapist I didn't mesh with at the start of the pandemic was that they were like very interested in the fact I was a streamer, because they had a bunch of clients who watched streamers as a way to like decompress, basically. Which so one, at that exact moment in my life, that was not the thing I needed to be told. I didn't need to be told, like, yeah, you have lots of people relying on you. That's not... Lots of strangers are relying on you for their mental health. That was so incredibly not the message that I was looking for at that time, whether it was true or not. But also it just, like, became kind of weird to go to session and be like, is this person invested in, like, my well-being, or, like, using me as a way to understand the situations their other clients are in better? So, that vibe got weird very quickly for me. You've had some clients for years, you've had people basically cancel on you in session. Yeah, I mean, it happens, you know. And to, like, the therapists, in defense of the therapist, I think they were just, like, sharing that as a way to, like, connect with me. Like, oh yeah, I do have interest in your life and want to learn about you. And I don't think that they had a deep enough understanding of the issues that I was going through at that time to realize that